I mean, we are expecting a positive judgment, which means that we expect that the court will recognize and affirm our marriage rights and affirm our right to have our chosen families recognized under law. The idea is that in the sphere, this will impact queer people's access to spheres of inheritance, adoption, surrogacy, all of these issues, and the rights that are given to straight couples under marriage. That's the idea. So we are expecting a positive judgment, but of course there's also jitters. We are also scared. Yeah.
So, what kind of problem these people today face if there is because there is no recognition of this relationship or marriages? What do you have to say about that? The problem facing by these people.
So I mean, one of the problems that we do face is we are not like these people. We are queer people. We are citizens of this country, and we face a lot of violence often from our families, our natal families, because our identities are not recognized. They are seen as identities that we should be ashamed of. In result of that, often when we are, say, visiting a hospital, our partners or the people who affirm our identity or are have been in support of us, their voices are not recognized. The idea that our natal families have to take crucial medical decisions for us if in case we are incapacitated. So the idea is that these are like violences that we face and we experience, and that's why we want the court to recognize our right to family and our right to marriage, and for us to have equal rights in that sense in the constitution.
After getting a legal recognition, what changes do you see in the society in your field?
I mean, obviously, judgments cannot guarantee a necessary change in society, but I definitely feel like they propel some change, and at least the idea that we have equal rights in the constitution give us a lot of self-confidence. And the fact that this happened in 2018 also, when 377 were decriminalized, that we are not seen as criminals. And right now also the idea that our families, which we have been forming since ages, right, it's not a new phenomena, those will be recognized under law. So the societal change will come from here. As NGO workers or development workers, that's what the work that we do is to bring that change. So we'll contribute in those little ways, but the judgment will definitely be a contribution to that fight. Yeah. Thank you.
What is your expectation about that judgment?
Well, we'll see what happens. My hopes are obviously that marriage between same-sex people is legalized in India, and so that everyone can have the opportunities available elsewhere, some people.
What change is going to make judgment after the judgment delivered?
Well, for us personally, we will be married in London in a few weeks' time, and so it won't affect us too much. But obviously, those opportunities are not available to most people here, and so that will make a big difference. But also, I think when you have a decision like this, if it goes that way, it helps society move forward. It helps people understand. It helps families understand. Perhaps sometimes parents can begin to see that their children, who might want to be with someone of the same sex, can have the kind of life that they would want. They can have some of the things that they think are important, which is difficult without that kind of recognition.
So right now, are you residing in India or UK?
UK. We both live in the UK.
Okay. What is the difference between the social scenario in India and UK?
Well, I don't know, perhaps you know more about the social situation in India.
Well, I think the social situation in India is complex. There's lots of different communities. There's lots of different economic backgrounds involved. I think there's different levels of education and awareness. And the UK, of course, has been quite liberal for a longer time. So society's changed and had that time to kind of evolve. India is at that changing point over the last several years. So I think it's still in that process of change. So you sort of see, having lived in both, you sort of see that difference. You see how it was. Even when I first moved to the UK, gay marriage was not legal there. It was only legalized in 2013. So I've been able to see the change in society and their views on, and how that's kind of influenced the LGBT community to be more stronger, to be more vocal, and to be more free ultimately. So I think that change I'd like to see in India as well. And I think it is happening, but the verdicts today will actually improve that process and give us people the freedom that we demand and require. Yeah.
So apart from the social change, what kind of administrative changes do you see after this judgment if it comes in your favor?
Do you want to answer that?
Perhaps that is for the government and for the courts to work out afterwards. Obviously, an initial judgment, as I understand it, would look to require the government to make arrangements for same-sex people to marry, possibly under the Special Marriages Act, and perhaps that is enough of a step for the moment. I think that when you have a decision like that, and then there are follow-on decisions that need to be made, it's best to make them as they arise, because otherwise people get very worried about how everything might change, when change is often incremental, and that is easier for everyone and perhaps for a society as well.
How long are you together?
Sorry, how long are we
years.
together? 5 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Your name. What is your name?
Alexander.
Anand.